Every year, millions of travelers fly past Poland, chasing the same tired destinations, and every single one of them is making a mistake. In 2025 alone, Poland recorded a historic 58.9 million overnight stays, an increase of 11.6% compared to the previous year, with international tourist numbers climbing by 13.1%. That is not a coincidence. That is a country the world is finally beginning to wake up to. From mountain towns buried in centuries of folklore, to cities that were burned to the ground and then rebuilt brick by brick from pure national defiance, Poland holds stories that most travel guides have never done justice. And somewhere in the north of this country, sitting along the banks of a quiet river, is a structure so enormous, so jaw-dropping, so completely impossible seeming that when you see it for the first time, your brain refuses to process what your eyes are showing it. We are going to take you through 5 of the greatest places you can visit in Poland right now. Each one will surprise you. But stay until the very end, because number 1 on this list is the kind of place that rewrites everything you thought you knew about what a single building can be. You do not want to miss it. Poland sits at the geographical heart of Europe, bordered by 7 countries, shaped by over 1,000 years of history, and carrying a weight of survival that few nations on Earth can match. It has been partitioned, occupied, and devastated, yet every single time it came back stronger. Today, cities such as Warsaw and Krakow offer a perfect blend of modernity and historical charm, while areas like the Tatra Mountains draw travelers seeking raw outdoor adventure. The country stretches from flat northern plains all the way down to dramatic alpine peaks, covering an extraordinary range of landscapes within a single border. Poland has made significant investments in infrastructure, accessibility, and cultural preservation, ensuring travelers enjoy modern amenities alongside authentic local experiences. The result is a destination that rewards every type of traveler and punishes no one for arriving. Number 5. Warsaw. Warsaw is a city that should not exist. That is not an exaggeration, that is history. During World War II, Nazi forces systematically demolished approximately 85% of the city, building by building, street by street, with deliberate and calculated destruction. What stood for centuries was reduced to rubble in a matter of years. Most cities never recover from that. Warsaw did something different entirely. After the war, the nation demonstrated extraordinary resilience by painstakingly reconstructing the city's old town, which today stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Architects worked from old paintings, photographs, and written records to rebuild every facade, every cobblestone street, and every church tower exactly as it once stood. Walking through Warsaw's old town today means walking through an act of collective national willpower frozen permanently in stone and brick. But Warsaw is not a city that lives only in the past. The modern skyline tells an entirely different story: glass towers, rooftop bars, world-class restaurants, and one of the most vibrant young populations in Central Europe. The contrast between the reconstructed medieval quarter and the gleaming financial district is not jarring. It is electric. The Royal Castle, the Asienki Park, the Warsaw Uprising Museum, each one layers a different dimension onto a city that refuses to be defined by a single era or a single identity. The Uprising Museum in particular hits differently from any war museum you have visited before. It does not simply document suffering. It documents defiance. Warsaw remains one of Poland's primary tourist hubs, drawing visitors from Germany, Ukraine, the United States, and far beyond. And once you arrive, it becomes immediately clear why. Number 4. Warsaw. Most travelers land in Warsaw or Kraków and never make it further. That is exactly why Wrocław remains one of the best-kept secrets in all of European travel, and exactly why that is rapidly changing. Wrocław sits in southwestern Poland along the Oder River, spread across a network of 12 islands connected by over 100 bridges. The result is a city that feels less like a single place and more like a living, breathing archipelago of culture, history, and architecture. Every bridge you cross leads somewhere worth arriving. At the heart of the city sits a massive 13th century market square, one of the largest and most beautifully preserved medieval town squares anywhere in Europe. The colored facades of the townhouses surrounding the square look almost painted on deep reds, yellows, and blues that glow differently depending on the hour and the season. At Christmas, the square transforms into what many travelers describe as the most atmospheric holiday market on the continent. But Wrocław carries a complexity beneath its beauty that makes it genuinely unlike anywhere else. The city has belonged to Poland, Austria, Prussia, and Germany at different points in its history. Every ruler left something behind in the architecture, in the street layouts, in the churches, and in the cultural DNA of the city itself. Walking through Wrocław is not walking through one history. It is walking through several, layered directly on top of each other. Wrocław is a little more off the beaten track for standard tourists visiting Poland, but it absolutely must be included in any serious itinerary. The city rewards curiosity. The more time you give it, the more it gives back. Number 3. Zakopane. There are mountain towns across Europe that trade on their scenery and deliver very little else. Zakopane is not one of those places. It earns every word written about it. Nestled at the foot of the Tatra Mountains in southern Poland, Zakopane sits at an elevation of roughly 800 meters above sea level, with jagged alpine peaks rising dramatically in every direction. The town has served as Poland's premier mountain destination for well over a century, and the reasons are not difficult to understand the moment you arrive. Zakopane is known for its alpine charm and provides visitors with year-round adventures, including hiking, skiing, and snowboarding. The snow-capped peaks and wide range of cozy mountain lodges offer a winter wonderland experience, while summer brings spectacular mountain vistas and scenic hiking trails through some of the most breathtaking landscapes in Central Europe. But what separates Zakopane from other mountain resorts is culture. The Gral people, the highland community indigenous to this region, have maintained a distinct identity, language, music, and architectural tradition for centuries. The wooden buildings that line Krupp W. Street, the main pedestrian thoroughfare, are not tourist reconstructions. They are the real thing, built in a style unique to this corner of the world. Traditional Highland dinners accompanied by Gral folk music remain one of the defining experiences of any visit to Zakopane, the kind of evening that does not feel staged and does not feel forgettable. The food alone, smoked sheep's cheese, grilled meats, and hearty mountain stews, justifies the journey from wherever you are coming from. In winter or summer, Zakopane delivers on every level. It is Poland distilled into a single town. Number 2. Tatra Mountains. If Zakopane is the gateway, the Tatra Mountains are the destination itself. And the difference between the two is the difference between standing at the edge of something and actually stepping inside it. The Tatras form the highest mountain range in the entire Carpathian chain, straddling the border between Poland and Slovakia with a sharpness and scale that feels genuinely alpine. These are not gentle rolling hills dressed up as mountains. The peaks here are raw, jagged, and uncompromising, the kind of landscape that reminds you in very clear terms that nature was never designed around human comfort. For outdoor enthusiasts, the Tatra Mountains offer over 270 kilometers of hiking trails, dramatic waterfalls, and Poland's highest peak, Rysy, which rises to 2499 meters above sea level. The trail network spans everything from accessible valley walks suitable for families to technically demanding ridge routes that will push experienced hikers to their limits. Every level of ambition finds its match here. Morskie Oko, which translates directly as the Eye of the Sea, is the most famous lake in Poland, sitting at 1,395 meters above sea level inside the Tatra National Park. The hike to reach it takes roughly 2 hours from the nearest road, and the payoff is a body of water so extraordinarily clear and so perfectly framed by surrounding peaks that photographs of it consistently look artificially enhanced. They are not. That is simply what it looks like. The Chokołowska Valley stands as one of the largest clearings on the Polish side of the Tatra Mountains and one of the largest pastures in the entire range, carpeted in blue-purple wildflowers called crocuses during the right season, creating one of the most visually striking natural spectacles in Central Europe. Wildlife moves through this landscape, largely undisturbed brown bears, wolves, lynx, and the chamois, a sure-footed mountain antelope that navigates the upper ridges with effortless precision. The Tatra Mountains are not a backdrop. They are a living, breathing ecosystem that has been operating on its own terms long before the first tourist ever arrived, and will continue doing so long after the last one leaves. This is Poland at its most primal, and nothing fully prepares you for it. Number 1. Malbork Castle. Everything on this list has been extraordinary. But nothing prepares you for this. Somewhere in northern Poland, about an hour's drive from the city of Gdańsk, a fortress sits along the banks of the Nogat River that does not simply qualify as the largest castle in Poland or the largest castle in Europe. It is the single largest castle on the face of the entire Earth. And the overwhelming majority of people traveling through Europe have never heard its name. Malbork Castle. The moment you round a bend in the road and the fortress appears on the far bank of the Nogat River, a vast curtain of red bricks stretching along the waterfront, towers rising against the sky. The word that comes to mind is not impressive. It is something closer to impossible. How did people build this? How long did it take? How many of them were there? The answers are extraordinary. Construction began in 1274 and continued for nearly 230 years. At its height, the castle housed around 3,000 Teutonic knights. It covers 21 hectares, roughly 52 acres, making it not just the largest brick castle in the world, but the largest Gothic brick building in all of Europe. To put that into perspective, Malbork Castle covers 143,591 square meters, roughly the size of 20 football fields. It is also the largest brick structure ever built by human hands anywhere on Earth. Windsor Castle, the Tower of London, the great fortresses of France and Germany, none of them come close. It took between 12 and 15 million individual bricks to construct this medieval masterpiece. Every single one laid by hand, without machinery, without modern engineering tools, driven entirely by human labor and an almost incomprehensible organizational ambition. The castle is divided into 3 distinct sections: the High Castle, which served as the monastic heart of the Teutonic Order; the Middle Castle, which functioned as the administrative and ceremonial center; and the Low Castle, which housed the armory and workshops. Walking through all three is not a single experience. It is three completely different worlds contained within one set of walls. Nearly destroyed during World War II, Malbork was painstakingly restored over decades and was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1997. Today, it houses a museum of staggering depth containing 40,000 individual items, including one of Europe's largest collections of medieval architectural elements, a globally unique collection of artistic amber works, an extensive set of historical weapons and military equipment, and a remarkable coin collection tied directly to the historic mints once operating within the castle walls. Over 500,000 visitors arrive every year, and yet, ask most people outside Poland to name the largest castle in the world, and you will be met with silence. That silence is the greatest argument for visiting that anyone could possibly make. Malbork is not a tourist attraction dressed up as history. It is history, standing upright, refusing to be forgotten, daring you to stand in front of it and feel small. Poland does not ask for your attention. It does not need to. It simply exists layered, resilient, extraordinary, and waits for the traveler who is paying close enough attention to notice. From the rebuilt streets of Warsaw to the medieval islands of Wrocław, from the highland culture of Zakopane to the raw alpine wilderness of the Tatra Mountains, and finally to a fortress so massive it redefines what a single human ambition can produce, this country delivers at every turn. Poland's tourism growth reflects a country that has comprehensively transformed itself into a top-tier travel destination that now rivals other European favorites. The window to see it before the crowds fully arrive is still open, but it is closing faster every year. If this video opens your eyes to Poland, hit subscribe, drop your questions below, and we will see you in the next one.